Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating and a little shocking history of the Boston Terrier. This lovable little dog almost didn't make it to our couches, because believe it or not, they were almost banned. Grab your snacks, cuddle up with your furry friend, and let's jump into the story of America's gentleman, the Boston Terrier. Our story starts in Boston, Massachusetts, way back in the late 1800s. At the time, Boston was busy, crowded, and a little rough around the edges. People needed dogs that were tough, small, and smart. So dog lovers started mixing different breeds. And guess what? The Boston Terrier's grandpa was a dog named Judge. Judge was a cross between a bulldog and the now extinct white English Terrier. He was strong, muscular, and had a square face just like today's Boston Terriers. Judge was later bred with a smaller white female dog named GYP, and together, bam, they created a new type of dog that would later become the Boston Terrier. So why did people fall in love with this new breed? Well, first of all, they were super friendly. Boston Terriers were smart, playful, and had a great sense of humor. Seriously, these dogs loved to clown around. They were also small enough for city living, but tough enough to be a little bodyguard. Perfect for families who wanted a companion and a watchdog in one cute little package. By the late 1800s, Bostonians were obsessed. In fact, in 1893, the American Kennel Club officially recognized the Boston Terrier as a breed, making them one of the first dogs born in the USA. But not everything was rainbows and belly rubs. At the time, dogfighting was sadly very common. Because Boston Terriers were tough and muscular, some people used them for fighting. They started breeding Boston Terriers to be even stronger and more aggressive. This wasn't what Judge and Gyp's family tree was meant for. The Boston Terrier, once a sweet and charming buddy, was getting a bad reputation for being violent. Newspapers started warning people. Politicians called for bans on dangerous dogs. And yes, Boston Terriers were caught up in that mess. In the early 1900s, some cities actually tried to ban Boston Terriers altogether. They argued that Boston Terriers were too aggressive and couldn't be trusted around kids. Some towns passed laws saying you couldn't own a Boston Terrier unless you had a special license. Other places just said, no Bostons allowed at all. Imagine that. Today, we think of Boston Terriers as happy-go-lucky goofballs, but back then, they were being called dangerous animals. Thankfully, good breeders and loving owners fought back. They focused on breeding Boston Terriers for good behavior, friendliness, loyalty, and intelligence. They wanted to save the true spirit of the Boston Terrier. The efforts worked. By the 1920s and 30s, Boston Terriers were back in people's hearts. They were everywhere, winning dog shows, riding in parades, and even starring in ads. Famous celebrities and politicians showed off their Boston Terriers. They became a true symbol of American charm. Fun fact, by 1929, the Boston Terrier was the most popular dog breed in the United States. Yep, more popular than the Golden Retriever or the German Shepherd today. Today, the Boston Terrier is nicknamed the American Gentleman because of their tuxedo-like markings and polite behavior. They're small, usually around 12 to 25 pounds, and absolutely packed with personality. Boston Terriers are known for being friendly, intelligent, great with kids. Super adaptable apartments, houses, anywhere. Sure, they snore like little bulldozers. Cue, funny snoring noises. And sometimes they're a little stubborn. But overall, they're one of the sweetest breeds you could ask for. So there you have it, the wild and wonderful story of the Boston Terrier. From almost being banned to becoming America's sweetheart, these little dogs have fought hard for their place in our hearts. If you love Boston Terriers, smash that like button. Subscribe for more dog history, tips, and fun videos. And tell us in the comments what's your favorite thing about Boston Terriers. Thanks for watching, see you next time.